Alright, so recently I've been stuck in limbo with making videos, but then I ended up talking to one of my friends, and we were actually just on the topic of injustice too. And I made it a point to say that I got tired of always seeing an evil version of Superman. Homelander, Omni-Man, Injustice Superman. It all just bores me at this point. And that actually ended up making us talk about the Batman Who Laughs. And in my opinion, I actually don't like the Batman Who Laughs. The Batman Who Laughs is literally just Joker in a Batman costume. And depending on who you ask, that might be the point. But in my opinion, my definitive version of a Batman that's evil has to be Owlman. So without wasting any more time, let me explain why and let's get into the video. So if you don't know who Owlman is already, he actually isn't even an evil version of Bruce Wayne. His name's Thomas Wayne Jr. and he's actually the oldest child between Thomas and Martha Wayne, Bruce being his younger brother. And his origins start off exactly how Bruce's does, but with obvious differences. Him and his family are leaving the movie theater before his parents begin to argue. And what they're arguing about is pretty much Thomas Wayne Sr. actually committed medical malpractice, so obviously he's being sued, and lawyer fees cost a hefty amount, so they're pretty much on a budget. And I guess Martha felt like this was a perfect time to start a huge argument in the middle of an alley. But then after tunnel visioning on their argument, they look back and see their son holding a gun to their face. But turns out both of their sons are in on it, and Martha Wayne isn't going for any of it because this is her son holding a gun to her face. So they begin to argue, and while Tommy and his mom is arguing, Bruce says he doesn't want to do this anymore, and this makes Tommy visibly angry. And before he could pull the trigger, Bruce dive tackles him, and so Bruce and Tommy begins to fight, and before you know it, Martha and Thomas Wayne get slimed out by their butler.
It's done, Master Thomas.
And that's his origin. Thomas and Alfred planned this from the jump and tried to get Bruce in on it. And when he tackled Thomas, Alfred just had to shoot him. And after all of the bodies were dropped, Thomas looks up and he sees an owl. And this was the day that the Owlman was created. And now that you know his origins, let's take a look at his best depiction on screen, and that would be Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. So I can't cover the entire movie because it's 2 hours long, so we're just going to cover the last fight between Batman and Owlman. And the context that you need to know is, Owlman is so mentally gone that his evil version of the Justice League, the Crime Syndicate, who were on his side at the beginning of the movie, now turn on him and join the Justice League because Owlman has a plan to destroy the entire multiverse, and the reasoning he gives behind it is because it would be the only thing that matters. And obviously everybody in the Crime Syndicate looked at this nigga like he was crazy, and the reason why it's only going to be Batman versus Owlman is because the evil version of the Flash, Johnny Quick, is the not so lucky speedster that has to hold the portal, and I'll tell you why he's not so lucky at the end of the video. And there was another reason why everybody couldn't go, but I forgot. But moving on to the fight, it starts off with Owlman talking down on Batman, calling him soft and some more shit. And you know my nigga Bats is just looking at him like he's a cornball. And it's crazy to me how Owlman is just explaining his plan and Batman isn't saying a single word. Bro's just scoping the scenery out. But like I said before, Owlman's just telling Batman his plan, just yapping away. And if I'm being real, I damn near fell asleep because this nigga was talking so much. But then the camera cuts over to Batman noticing something on Owlman's head. And this is what I meant by saying Owlman's just wasting time, because not only is this nigga looking corny as shit, but he gave Batman so much time to size him up. Like, what are you doing? So Batman walks over in front of him, and this leads to some more long ass banter between Batman and the evil version of Batman. So they both just yapping about some bullshit. So let's just skip to the fight. Owlman activates this interdimensional bomb, and obviously Batman gets mad as shit about this, but Owlman doesn't give a fuck about Batman's opinion at all, so he starts walking towards him. And this pisses off Batman so much that he throws a smoke bomb before he launches a punch at him. So then Owlman grabs him and throws him onto the steps before they start boxing. And this movie honestly got Batman looking like a scrub right now, because there should be no reason why Owlman just hit this devious ass combo onto Batman like this. To the point where I had to slow it down like this, because he kicked him once, punched him twice, punched him a third time, and then kicked him on his chest and hit a backflip off of him. And I'm sick, bro. They're out here violating my goat. Straight belt to ass, gang. And so Batman's obviously laying on the ground trying to regain some type of stamina. Now man's honestly just walking over to that nigga stunting. And he's talking so crazy to Batman, you would have thought he's been beefing with this man for years. But finally, after like 10 years and some change, he gets over to Batman and he grabs him by his neck and slams him against the wall. And honestly, man, this whole scene got me looking at my screen, shocked, distraught, and perplexed. But here we go with Owlman holding Batman up by his neck again. But you know Batman loves to keep up his tough guy persona, so he talks some shit before Owlman lands another devious ass combo on him. And here we go with Batman on his ass again, just getting abused. But Batman hits his back handspring before he tries to hit Owlman with some type of gas, and Owlman blocks it and then lands an elbow on Batman before he slams him and throws him across the map. And we have to take a timeout for 1 second, because not only is this nigga Owlman playing A1 defense, but this nigga is boxing so hard I thought it was the Ryan and Tank fight all over again. But that violation leads to Batman dodging out the way and sending an attack back, but he misses.
Where's that? Get me! He shot and he missed.
And so Owlman just rushes him, and after rushing him he lands a couple more body blows before eventually sending Batman flying again. And this shit's honestly becoming crazy to me, because Batman's on his back again, and it honestly looks like Batman wanted to tap out at this moment. But Owlman finally approaches him and snatches him up before he lifts him up in the sky and digs in his pockets and throws the teleport, while having this nigga Batman's feet dangling. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, he starts throwing the most vicious body blows I've ever seen. Bruce is about to be throwing up his vital organs any second after this. But Bruce puts a bad explosive on Owlman's face, which surprisingly didn't blow this nigga whole muffin cap off. So Batman uses that distraction to get to the bomb to try to send it to a different universe, an empty one I should add. Owlman ends up getting up behind him and putting him in a crazy headlock.
Mom. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Call for your mama.
And Batman's reaching for the teleporter while Owlman's just talking more shit. Like, damn. He hasn't stopped talking this entire fight. And so Batman's in a full Nelson while he's looking up at a nuke that's about to go off. So he hits a backflip before he kicks and bounds Owlman to the nuke and teleports him to a different dimension. And Owlman can't do nothing besides look around in fear before he accepts the fact that he's gone. And I almost forgot to cover this, but the reason why I said Johnny Quick was the not so lucky speedster that had to hold the portal was because Batman specifically told Flash that he wasn't fast enough to hold the portal. But that wasn't the truth at all. Both speedsters were able to hold the portal, but Batman knew that the speedster that did hold the portal was bound to die. And so he killed 2 people in this movie technically, Owlman and Johnny Quick. With that being said, that's the end of the video. If you guys watched to the end, I just wanted to say thanks. Make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace.
Never choose no bitch, I keep that bitch beside my head.